And good Tuesday morning on, oh God, what's the date? June 20th.
June 20th.
Episode
620, baby.
243 of the 359 podcast. And sorry we're late. I got locked out of my apartment this morning. But you know who didn't? Alfred Ng and Roger Cheng. Hey, guys.
That's right.
That's
we were
right.
here
That's-
on time.
That's why we knew the date.
I tried.
Look, we're gonna do a short show, no Q&A today, just because we've got other stuff. We've got other meetings kind of.
We have
butting up against
lives.
this. I don't have a life. I just have work, basically.
That is your life.
That is my life. Anyways, we've got a busy show. We're going to be talking about Netflix with their Choose Your Own Adventure style videos, Uber and Lyft teaming up in Texas, and the attempt to build a universal digital ID. It's an interesting concept.
Oh, yeah, it's super interesting. I kind of wish it existed now, but it'd be so hard to create that it's just one of those things.
That's what I'm
yeah.
wondering. That's why it intrigues me, because it's a very ambitious goal.
Yeah.
But can you imagine just carrying like a universal UN digital ID?
I just wish it was like some universe that I could wake up in and it's already there.
Right. I feel like this would definitely cut a lot of headaches out and just travel, things like that. So, all right. As always, well, you can leave your comments in the leave your questions in your comment section, but we'll probably ignore them.
We'll probably have to today,
Yeah.
but we're going to try to get through this as fast as possible. Thank you for joining us regardless.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you as soon as we can. Hopefully, maybe we'll see.
Probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or tweet at me.
Here we go.
Tweet at us. Tweet at us.
Here we go. We're still going to come back afterwards so we can shut it down proper. And here we go for the recording of the podcast in 3, 2...
Welcome to the 359. I'm Roger Cheng.
I'm Alfred Ng.
Remember those old Choose Your Own Adventure books? Well, Netflix is bringing that style of storytelling to kids' videos. The first is Puss in Boots, Trapped in an Epic Tale, which debuts on the service today. Alfred, were you a fan of those books back in the
Yeah,
day?
I actually read a lot of them for Goosebumps. I died every time, or there was that one where I turned into a seagull.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the one where his shoes had like wings and then he like kept floating in the air and then
I remember one that was based... I read more of the general Choose Your Own Adventure books, but there was one on time travel. And I remember I kept getting stuck in this weird time loop where I was... Not time loop, I was stuck like 5 minutes ahead of everyone else. So I would show up, and then like everyone would react to me 5 minutes later. And it just kept going like that.
Oh,
Like,
I thought-
that's kind of trippy for a kid if you think about it.
I thought it was a time loop where it just kept turning you back to the same page.
Go to
like,
page
over-
5. Go to page 6. Go to page 5.
What a terrible loop that would be.
But yeah, no, it's an interesting thing because Netflix is known for sort of, you turn on whatever you want to watch and you chuck your remote because it just automatically plays. And this is sort of a big change for them.
Yeah, I think they had an amateur version of this on YouTube for a while because on YouTube you could do like timestamps on videos.
Yep.
It would be like choose your own adventure videos, but on YouTube. But I think Netflix is trying to make this more of like a professional, like formal version.
Yep. Totally.
But yeah, I guess with this case, you can't really binge on it anymore because you just have to I have to pay attention to this now.
Exactly. You actually have to be fairly active and, allows you to sort of skip, not necessarily chapters, but I guess they're plot points that have branching options for you.
I think it's smart to do it with starting with like a children's series first though. It's kind of like Dora the Explorer, but instead of like the dead blank stare that she gives you, is like you can actually interact with it. So I think it's really interesting. I think kids would actually love this thing.
Totally. Joan Salzman actually wrote the story. She asked Netflix about whether or not, Man in the High Castle or House of Cards might get some sort of choose your own adventure type alternate universe take on it. Netflix was pretty mum of that. They didn't think that was actually going to happen. This is really sort of experiment to see how it works for kids' videos. And I think you're right. Starting with kids on content is a pretty smart move. All right, next up, our own Derek Kerr has an exclusive on frenemies, Uber and Lyft actually partnering to lobby the Texas government to get its way. When Austin tried to require fingerprint checks on ride-sharing drivers, the two companies lobbied together directly to the state government, who overrode the city's rules. It's become a blueprint for how these companies may expand to other markets.
It's interesting that, when they're both up against the government, they will come together on something like this.
Yep.
So this has actually also happened in New York in 2015 when Mayor Bill de Blasio was trying to, set more limitations on Uber and Lyft, not get rid of them, but in the same way that the Texas government or the Austin government was basically saying, we want more identity, we want more regulations, the same way that we have on our taxi industry, like they do in New York.
Right.
Uber and Lyft were just saying, no way. They got together for this too. They lobbied a lot of, state officials,
Right.
and they put out like a huge ad campaign. Like Ashton Kutcher tweeted out about like the New York like
Well, you know,
Uber laws. And
when
I'm like,
Ashton Kutcher speaks, we all must listen.
it's just like he doesn't like do that often in New York.
All right. So lastly, we got to get to the UN is attempting to build a universal digital ID. Alfred, you wrote the story.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me more about this attempt, this project.
So last year was their first ID 2020 summit, and it was basically a way to address the issue going on with refugees.
Yep.
Where a lot of them didn't have their IDs on them because
Yep.
they were fleeing from their homes from like chaos and things like that. And then once they get to the border, they can't provide any documentations proving who they are,
Yep.
and they would be turned around, which is tragic. So they wanted to come up with this digital solution where, you know, they could scan a QR code that's like on their bracelet, or they
Yep.
could show an app if they happen to have their phone on them and things like that. And now that goal is expanded from like just refugees to like they wanted to try to build this for literally every human being on the planet.
And I think that's fascinating because it's, I mean, one, that would take the hassle out of a lot of things, right? Like travel, commerce. I mean, you're talking about IDs that store education history, medical history, getting
Like your banking account, everything.
exactly getting healthcare in a foreign country. Like having this ID would be useful. That said, it's super ambitious because I can't see a lot of individual countries adopting this. Right?
Adoption is actually the hardest problem right now.
Yep.
The tech isn't the issue. The issue is, getting around all the government paperwork.
Right. All right, we got to leave it at that. We're already running late. So for more of those stories, check us out on CNET. I'm Roger Cheng.
I'm Alfred Ng.
Thanks for listening.
So we have like 1 minute until you got to run.
Yeah.
And this is still, again, mostly my fault because I got locked out this morning and I screwed everything up. But I think the Choose Your Own Adventure thing is really cool as hell.
Yeah.
I'm excited
I
about
want to
this.
see how it works in principle or in practice. I mean, just hearing about it seems really cool. Like, I think it's something I'd love my kid to watch when he's old enough
Yeah.
to watch videos.
I feel
but-
like it'd be great for kids. Even if they made an adult version of this, though, I don't think I'd watch it just because
it's too interactive. You're like, I want to
well,
sit down
no,
and I want to
yeah.
binge watch.
But there's that. Like, if I watch a show, I'm there to like binge watch something. I mean, like, think about like the old.
if you're trying to Netflix and chill, this would totally screw with the game.
Yeah. But like the whole thing is, if I want storytelling interactively, like I would just play a video game that has like
Right.
a lot of like immersive stories in it, and like I can actually do a lot more than just watch what's going on. I can like affect
That's
what's
true. This
going
is
on.
sort of like watching all the cinematics from a video game with a couple of like quick action buttons.
Yeah.
Just choosing left or right.
Which was actually an old arcade game. I forgot the name of it, but
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's that weird 3D one, right? The holographic game.
yeah, something like that.
Do you
But
remember that game?
I don't remember the title, but I mean, it's essentially QuickTime events, which
Yeah.
after I spent the entire weekend playing Shenmue,
Oh yeah.
relevant to our interests.
Yes.
yeah, so it's basically
So he did it. He was totally into
yeah,
that.
it
Yeah.
feels like that, and I don't
games
know.
have been going that way for a long time.
Yeah.
Look at stuff like Heavy Rain.
Yes.
It's basically
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
interactive movies now.
Yep.
I'm kind of astonished that this hasn't happened sooner with
Well,
the
I
advent of
mean, I
like
think
look
it-
at YouTube and
I
annotations.
think it has. I mean, YouTube definitely has
Yeah.
a history of these kinds of choose your own adventure type story structures. I think Netflix. It's taken a while for Netflix because obviously they've got a huge base. They want to be a little conservative about this. They're playing it a little bit safer.
Yeah.
Kids content. This is DreamWorks licensed stuff, so obviously there's going to be appeal there.
Production value,
yeah, there's
etc.
production
Wait,
value,
this is from
exactly.
DreamWorks.
Yeah, well, it's licensed.
Puss in Boots is
Puss in Boots
Shrek.
yeah.
Well,
Right?
Puss in Boots is Puss in Boots. He's
No,
his
no,
own
no,
character.
no. This is
It's
the
a
Puss in Boots
licensed-
from
But this
the
is
Shrek universe.
yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yes.
Okay, should have made a
So-
Shrek book. Come on.
No.
Would've been
Any
amazing.
questions? We'll take one or two.
I wasn't really looking, to be honest.
That's all right.
I don't know. I think a lot of people are also kind of intrigued by this concept of.
Well, it's out today. You can actually check it out.
Oh, it is.
On Netflix
I probably
today.
should check it out
Yeah,
tonight.
tell us if
First
you
one.
died.
I don't think you
Is
can
that
die.
an option?
I'm pretty sure that's not an option. This is a kid's book, man, or kid's video.
Goosebumps is a kid's book.
Like in Dark
That's
Souls.
true. Goosebumps was dark for its time, though. Like it's surprisingly
I mean,
dark.
it was like really popular in the 90s. I think it was exactly as dark as it needed to be.
I guess so. All right, let's end it. Let's wrap it up
Yeah,
there.
sorry again, everybody. Thanks for
Yeah,
bearing with us, and
well-
thanks for joining us regardless. We'll be back in full force tomorrow.
We'll try to do better tomorrow.
All right, let's bring us home.
All right, if you liked anything you saw or heard here, check us out on CNET. Our podcast is also available on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, FeedBurner, and Google Play Music. See y'all tomorrow.
Bye.